Hi, I'm Sarah Bargidget and welcome to your Yoga for Tennis Players sequence today. Please do subscribe and remember to give the thumbs up for this class. So not only for tennis players, this is also a sequence for anyone who plays a sport where there's an asymmetrical movement like squash or golf or baseball, and there's some impact and twisting where the joints are vulnerable, and frozen shoulder, tennis elbow, wrist problems, hip, lower back, all those problems that happen when you twist, turn, jump, move. So I really hope that you find this useful. I put a lot of thought into it. This is a practice that I am now doing a lot because I've started playing tennis again, and I don't want to redo the frozen shoulder, the tennis elbow, the lower back issues. So mobility and strength is being really considered carefully in all of these poses that we're going to be doing. You're going to need a strap and you're going to need a block. So pause now, get those, come back. Also, you're going to need a piece of wall, by the way, so just make sure that you've got a piece of wall that's clear so that we can do wall sits in a moment. But first of all, come to hands and knees. Place your hands underneath your shoulders, make sure that your arms are straight, and turn your index fingers slightly away from each other. Widen your knees to the width that your arms are at, your wrists are at, and make sure that your big toes are touching side by side. Now round your back, push your hands down into the mat so that you're stretching the muscles of your spine as evenly as you can. So make sure you're not leaning over to the left or the right. Press your tailbone towards your face and look down between your knees. Then lift your chin, lift up your sitting bones, so now you're lengthening the front body. Keep breathing steadily. The breath is really important, not only in yoga, but also when you're playing any kind of match. Round your back again in order to steady and calm your nerves. And also to help, remember learning to hit the ball on an exhale. Keep your breathing really steady. One more back bend. As if you were breathing in and out through a long, thin straw. Now come into a normal neutral spine. So look down and walk your hands back at least halfway towards your knees and turn your hands. So you're spinning your fingers to the edges of the mat, and then bring your hands down to the floor with your fingertips facing your knees so that you can stretch your wrists and your forearms. If this is too intense, bring your hands even closer towards your knees so that you can press the heels of your hands down. Possibly move back a little bit, but only after consideration and assessment. Push down with your thumbs a little bit more and then round your back like you just did. Perhaps not quite so intensely this time. And then do the back bend. Lift up your chin, lift up your sitting bones. Do that one more time, round your back. Let your shoulder blades separate from each other on your upper back. And then the back bend. Lift your chin, lift your sitting bones. Then look down at the floor, a normal neutral spine again. Turn your hands back to normal and come into downward facing dog. Separate your toes, separate your feet, I should say, and lengthen the back body. If you want to put a bend in the knees for the first couple of breaths, do that, and then begin to straighten your legs as you push your hands forward. Then from here, bring your knees down to the floor. Slide your left hand back a little closer to your left knee and bring your right arm right out to the side, to the right. Then turn your head to look towards the left and bring the right side of your head down to the floor. Keep pressing the right hand down. See if you can turn your belly and your chest a little more to the left. Slightly squeeze your knees towards each other and press your tailbone down towards the floor. So broadening and opening the right side of the chest here. Squeeze your arm, squeeze around your elbow and press your hand down a little bit more firmly. Then lift your head. Keep your left hand where it is. Pick the right hand up and then thread it underneath your left armpit with your palm facing up. And then again, bring the right side of your head down to the floor. Reach your right hand a little further away if you can. Bring all of your fingernails down. Turn a little bit more towards the right. And again, keep pressing your knees towards each other. And then from here, Press the left hand down so you can come back up again. And we'll do that on the other side. So bring your right hand down, reach the left hand way out to the left. Try and keep your hand level with the shoulder. Bring the left side of your head to the floor. See if you could twist a little bit more and press your knees towards each other. And then to stretch the back of the shoulder, push your right hand down, thread the left arm underneath your right armpit, and again bring your head to the floor. Keep pressing your knees towards each other. And slide the left hand back and come into puppy dog pose, Anahatasana. Hands far away from each other, so your little fingers are actually coming off the edges of the mat. If your mat is really wide, then just make sure you could put 2 palms in between your hands, and then bring your forehead to the floor or onto your block if it doesn't reach the floor. Press your hands down as flat as you can so you get a little lift in the center of your armpits. Press your tailbone down. So we're lengthening the front and the back body here as we again work a little bit more on the mobility on the shoulders and strengthening the upper back. Then raise your forehead, put your head up off the floor, walk your hands back, and then from here come into downward facing dog again. Then walk your hands back again all the way towards your feet. Bend your knees, bring your hands to your hips and come up to standing. Now we're going to do a little bit more work on the shoulders. So get your strap and hold the D-rings in your right hand. Step your feet together and stand tall. Reach your right arm up, bend the elbow, left arm out to the side, turn the thumb down, and then get your strap. So this configuration here in your right arm is a little bit similar to what you would do if you were serving in tennis. We want to try and lengthen the triceps a little bit more. So bring that elbow and shoulder back a little bit more. And then bring the left shoulder back too. So you're squeezing your shoulder blades towards each other on your upper back. And then squeeze your legs and press your tailbone down towards your heels. Lift your heart. Don't force this. It's better that you stay a little bit longer with ease rather than holding this for a short amount of time at maximum possibility. So a little bit of ease and softness. Don't walk your hands too close to each other. Then release your left hand, slowly let it slide down, reach the right arm up and change sides. So Gomukhasana arms, cow's ears arms, reach the left arm up, obviously doing it on both sides because we want to have an equal length and mobility in the joints and the muscles as well as strength on both sides of the back. And have the chest nice and broad on both sides. So bring that left elbow back a little bit more, maybe a little bit more behind your ear. You might find that this side is either easier or more challenging. So when you're doing this without me, and do have a strap handy around the house, when you're doing this without me, maybe spend a little bit more time on the harder side, the side that has less mobility, less stretchy. Hold it for a good 5 more breaths. Squeeze your legs, press your tailbone down. Then let the right hand go. Straighten the left hand up towards the ceiling and then bring your hand down by your side. Now, just fold the strap up reasonably and put it down. Bring your feet together again and bring your arms ahead. We're going to do eagle arms now. Cross your right arm under as high as you can above your elbows and wrap your arms. Now, if you can, bring your palms together and don't interlace your fingers, it's too easy. If bringing the palms together is too challenging, then bring the backs of your hands together. And if that's too challenging, then just grab your shoulders. It's all the same stuff. Then you stay like this, lift your elbows and press your hands gently away from your face. Soften your shoulders. Stay with this. Keep gazing at your wrists with the same awareness of everything that's around your wrist and your peripheral vision as well. Soften your shoulders a little bit more, all around your upper back. Unravel your arms. We'll do the second side. Bring the left arm under, take your time, cross as high as you can. Again, palm to palm, or backs of hands together, or grab your shoulders. Raise your elbows and press your hands away from your face. You might even find when you inhale that the stretch intensifies on your upper back. If it's too much, then ease off a little bit. Lower your elbows if necessary. Again, gaze forward. Try and have your wrists right in front of your face. Then unravel your arms and bring your arms down by your sides. Good. Now, go to the front of your mat and separate your feet to about hip width apart. Notice how your shoulders feel. Turn your palms out to the side walls. And as you inhale, bring your arms up overhead. And see if you can bring your arms back a little bit. Then come into chair pose. Now fold forward and bring your hands to either sides of your feet. And take a big step back with your left foot to the back of your mat and bring the left knee down. Now stay here in this low lunge. And then puff up your upper back a little bit as you straighten your arms. Now could you bend the front knee a little bit more and move your hips forward? Press both feet down and then bring your hands one by one onto your right leg and raise your chest up. Now keep dragging, but without moving the front foot towards the back of your mat. So the back of your leg engages and you get a good cohesive support here on the right hip. Then float your arms and twist to your right. Bring your left hand onto the outside of your right knee. Bring your right arm out to the side and then maybe you can bring it back a little bit more as you turn your head. Squeeze the left buttock here. Don't force anything. Move slowly. Then undo the twist, bring the right hand forward, bring your hands down to the floor, pick up your back knee and step forwards. Take as many steps as you need to come forward. Forward fold, bend your knees if you need to. And then pick up your right leg, reach it long behind you, bend the left knee, touch down, bring the back knee down. Squeeze your bottom. And again, straighten your arms and puff up the upper back a little bit more, like you just did in eagle pose. Press that left foot towards the back knee and drag the back knee forwards as you bring your hands one by one onto your left leg. Raise your chest. Let your elbows drop. Then float your arms, press the left buttock in, slowly twist to the left. Bring your right hand to the outside of the right knee. Left arm out to the side, and then maybe bring the arm back as you move the right ribs forward and the left ribs back. Soften your shoulders here. If you're hitching them up by your ears, let them drop down and maybe don't twist so far. Now undo the twist, take your right hand away, bring your hands down to the floor, pick up the back knee and step forwards. Bring your hands onto your hips, come up to standing. And then the wall. Now, we're going to do a wall sit. So from here, have your back on the wall and walk your feet forwards and bring your feet and your knees together. Now, you might want to stay upright. You're going to be here for a minute, bearing that in mind. Or possibly, if you've got some leg strength and some stamina that you think you can maintain, come down a little bit more. I'm already counting 1 minute. So that you feel like your legs are more like they are when you're in Warrior 2. And we're going to do Warrior 2 in a minute. But you want to try and have your femur bone, your thigh bone, coming towards parallel to the floor. Squeeze your legs towards each other. Bring the backs of your hands to the wall. If you've got a ponytail in the way, just slide it down. And squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other so you broaden your chest again. Press your hands into the wall. Gaze forward. And this isn't going to go on forever. All difficult things come to an end. And you're already halfway through, more than halfway through. If you're finding it impossible to hold this, then slide your back up again, your back up a little bit so that you can maintain something. If you give up, you won't get stronger. 3, 2, 5 seconds left. 1, 0. Press your hands into the wall, push yourself away, and then come into a standing thigh stretch. So bend the right knee, Reach your right hand down. And then push the heel back of that right foot and separate your toes. Lift your heart and maybe bring the right knee back a little bit more. Keep the foot high and take your hand away. Then bring your foot down and go straight to the other side. Standing thigh stretch. This is really good for your balance. Obviously, as well as stretching a little bit of the hip flexor and this left thigh. See if you can have the knee pointing straight down rather than winging it out to the side. Take your hand away, keep the foot high, then slowly bring the foot all the way down. Now, get your block and place it on the top right-hand corner of your mat on the highest height. Then stand in the middle of your mat so that you're looking at the long edge. You've got the short edges on the left and the right. Bring your hands into your heart, reach your arms wide, and step your feet as wide as your wrists are. Turn your right foot so the toes are now pointing to the short edge. Then as you look at the right knee, bend the right knee so that it goes over the middle toe of the right foot, and then straighten this leg as much as you can. Good. Now squeeze your bottom so that you feel both of your knees going back a little bit and you're really opening up your hips. Warrior two. So the front leg here is doing the wall sit thing. Now, bring your left hand onto your left hip, bring your right hand onto your block. Move the block so that it's underneath your right shoulder and place the heel of your hand on the block very lightly. Then lean back. Then bring your left hand behind the back of your head and let your head rest back into it. And then push the top elbow, the left elbow, away from your left foot. So this elbow, this top elbow is moving towards where the wall meets the ceiling on the right side of your room. Lean back, use your abs as you twist, as you move the right ribs forward and the left ribs back. Then from here, reach that left hand up towards the ceiling. Keep your right leg as it is. Come back to warrior two. Then reach down and get your block, straighten the right leg, turn the right toes in, turn the left toes out. Put the block onto the outside of your left leg. Come back up with two straight legs, straight arms. Bend the left knee. Warrior two. Soften your shoulders. Make sure this leg is really straight. Squeeze the knee. So all the muscles around the knee, all the connective tissue, everything is really adhering to the joint and supporting it. Then bring the heel of your left hand lightly onto your block. Put the block under your shoulder, and then bring your right hand to the back of your head so that your fingertips touch the ear, and lean back, and then push your elbow away from your shoulder. There's a lot going on here, so holding it for a little while, try and keep your breathing steady and even. 3, so it's a variation of side angle pose. 2, keep pushing the back foot down. 1, straighten your left arm, so your right arm. Come up to warrior two. Straighten the left leg. Parallel both of your feet. Bring your hands to your hips. And then walk or jump your feet together. Now move the block. Don't need it for now. And come to sit cross-legged. So bring your arms ahead of you. Bend your knees. Come into a squat. Bring your hands down. And then sit cross-legged with your right leg in front. Move your bottom back. Then float your arms and twist to the right. Bring your left hand onto your right knee, your right fingertips onto the floor close towards you, behind you, and twist. Bring the right shoulder back more and lift up the base of your sternum. Keep squeezing your knees, keep pressing your feet down. Float your arms, come back to center. Inhale here, and as you exhale, twist to the other side and continue the breathing process. Don't ever stop that. Bring the left shoulder back, lift your heart. Again, a slight squeeze in the knees so the muscles on the backs of the knees are engaged. Press your feet down so the muscles on the sides of your knees are engaged, and you're all down, your legs, your hips are getting a nice cohesive support. Float your arms, turn back to center. Now again, the legs engaged, forward fold. Bring your hands to your knees, lift your heart, and then fold forward. Bring your hands down to the floor. You don't have to bend your elbows here. You can be completely upright. Just be careful of your lower back. So don't force any lengthening here that isn't ready to happen yet. Remember, yoga takes months and years to really build the depth and the body's understanding of the poses. It takes a lot of patience, but it's so worth coming back and back and back to all these sequences. Inhale, come up, where you will find bit by bit that yes, I can come forward a bit more now than I could a month ago or so. Bring your hands back. The tissues are lengthening and the joints are getting more mobility. Okay, cross really safely by pressing your feet down, move your bottom back. And then from here, the side bend. So left hand down to the floor, bend the elbow, drop your shoulder, and then reach your right arm over your ear. And as you do this, let the right side of your waist lengthen and soften, and let the right hip ooze and drop down towards the floor. You can look down here if your neck is getting tired, or possibly if you want to get a bit more mobility in the neck, turn your face to look up towards your right arm and underneath it. And then coming to the other side, push that left hand down, bring the right hand down again, bend the elbow, drop your shoulder, and then bring your arm over your ear. It kind of feels like a 45-degree angle-ish. Bring the arm back if you can. And again, that side waist, the left side, let it lengthen naturally with gravity, just pulling it down. Don't force it down. When you bring your attention there, imagine breathing into your left lung and as if your left lung reached all the way down to your left sitting bone. Then come all the way up. And then a back bend. And you're going to use your block now. So lean back, get your block. We're going to put this underneath your shoulder blade. So bring it east-west on the lowest height, where the bottom tips of your shoulder blades are going to rest on top of it. So move back a little bit here, bring your elbows down, and try and park yourself so that your upper back is on your block. The bottom tips of your shoulder blades are on it, and then make a hammock for your head with your hands and let your elbows just naturally drop towards the floor. So don't force it again, just let gravity, and being here for about another 30 seconds, you'll find that you start to get a little bit more broadening in the chest as you stay. Keep your feet on the floor, keep your knees bent. If you are finding that this is very easy and you're not feeling much of a stretch, you can roll over and bring the block up a level. But I find that even though my head is on the floor here, I like this. I want to stay here for a little while in less depth in order to be safe. You still get a good stretch here, particularly if you've got a tight shoulder. You don't want to force anything. Okay, we're going to come out of this now. So use the strength of your arms to lift your head up. Look towards your knees, bring your elbows down, pick up your back, move the block away. Come all the way back down with your head and cross your right leg completely over the left. Then pick up your feet and draw your knees gently in towards the center of your chest. Now, I keep on repeating gently and carefully because I know that sports people, tennis players, golfers, whoever you may be, we get quite competitive and we want to do well at everything that we do physically. And sometimes we pull a little bit too much, and yoga is a practice of patience. It's actually very good for us more perhaps type A competitive people to do yoga in order to slow down and sort of see the space between the moments. Take your hands away, uncross the right leg, cross the left leg over. and to respond with a little bit more clarity and ease and grace. So here, soften your shoulders, don't pull too much, just to the point where you think, ah yeah, my left hip, my left knee perhaps as well, are getting just enough stretch, not too much, just enough stretch to be therapeutic, rather than to try and experiment with how far I could go. It's just feels good. Take your hands away, bring your right foot to the floor, bring the left foot down, and then bring the soles of your feet slowly together and let your knees drop down towards the floor like a butterfly. Supta Baddha Konasana. Keep your arms relaxed here. Your arms and your shoulders have already done a lot of work. Palms face up. Let your fingers be loosely curled as if they were carrying quite heavy little eggs in the palms of your hands, forcing your fingers to draw towards each other. Then from here, press your feet down so you can bring your knees closer to each other. And then lengthen your left leg long to the left corner of your mat, and then the right to the right corner. Just 1 minute here. We're going to completely relax. Tuck your chin slightly down so the back of your neck lengthens. Press your elbows down so that you can draw your shoulder blades a little closer to each other. Soften your entire body all the way down your legs. Let your feet turn away from each other. And let your breathing be normal, natural, and light and easy. I'm going to be quiet here for about another half minute. Stay here with me and rest. Now, if you want to stay here longer, just roll over onto your side and press pause and lie back down again. If you want to come out and finish your Shavasana, bend your knees one leg at a time and roll onto your right side. Now stay lying on your side. Rest your head in your upper arm. Close your eyes again if you opened them. And again, come to your breathing. Be aware of the steady passage of each inhale and exhale. Deepen your breathing, just a touch. Don't fill your lungs completely, just to a comfortable cadence. Smooth out your breath. Then press down with your left hand, then your right hand to bring yourself up to sit in a tall, confident position. That's also with ease. So you're lengthening your spine, pushing the top of your head up towards the ceiling. As you draw your shoulders back, you're bringing some ease and softness into everything. So sitting with height, but also sitting in a way that you could imagine you could sit for a long time. Then bring your hands into your heart and lower your chin. Release your hands, bring your palms down onto your legs, gently press down, then lift your chin and open your eyes. Namaste. Well done. Keep coming back to this and you will find yourself walking taller and with more confidence on court, and hopefully getting fewer injuries and lengthening the amount of years that you can play the game. Take care.